Just like that, everybody quiets down. I love it. Good morning, and welcome to our worship service. We're glad that you joined us today. Several activities are restarting. Please see the back of the bulletin for information about chair yoga, the UUUks, and the return of the garage sale. We'd like you to be aware that there is a hearing loop installed in the floor. The people in the sound booth can help you if you need hearing assistance. We would like to be prepared for the time that we can serve coffee. To organize for this next step, and I'm dying for coffee right now. Anyway, to prepare for this next step, we need 1 or 2 people willing to head up a coffee team. Please let Karen or Ann know if you would like to take on this role. After the service, the children and youth will have homemade truffles available for a donation in the lobby. They are raising funds to support the UNICEF's efforts to help people affected by the war in Ukraine. Now I would ask you to open your minds and silence your cell phones for our time together. Our chalice lighting this morning is from Jennifer McGlothen, called Like the First Hint of Green. As the first hint of green begins to peek through the barren ground, as that little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day. Let us allow spring to unfold slowly, that we may appreciate the true mystery of rebirth and renewal, to form a yellow daffodil. Let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space. Now let us sing together our opening hymn, I Know This Rose Will Open. Please rise in body or spirit.
We'll sing it through twice rather than doing here and there. I think we know this. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. I'm Jenny Papp. I'm the Director of Religious Exploration here in this fellowship. And we have lit our chalice, and we have sang our song, and now's the time we all get to share a story together. So what I would like to do right now is invite anyone who would like to be a little closer to the story to come on up and join me up here. I'm going to sit way back so there's room for everyone, or there's extra chairs if you would prefer a chair. So good morning. I'm going to assume I can make this work. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Well, happy spring. Thank you, those of you who helped me bring in the flowers this morning. I appreciate that. So the service this morning is about spring, and specifically the vernal equinox. So the vernal equinox is actually right tomorrow, is that correct? Today? It's today. Okay. So it is today. And that has to do with the position of our planet and the sun, and there are various times throughout the year that we mark that are special. So in the summer, there is the summer solstice in June, and that's when there is one day that is the longest hours of daylight, okay? And then there is another one in December that has the shortest hours of daylight. That is the winter solstice. Was anybody here at the winter, when we celebrated the winter solstice here? We were outside, we decorated a tree. I see some hands. Any of you were here? Okay. So that was the winter solstice, the shortest daylight hours in the year. So right now, the vernal equinox is right between those, the winter solstice and the summer solstice. And we've exhausted my knowledge on the vernal equinox. So if any of you would like to learn more about it this week and tell me, that would be useful. So feel free. Come up next week and tell me. So Our story this morning is about a goddess. Her name is Ostara. And some people will say, and I'll see if I can get this one right, say it's Iastra. It sounds suspiciously like the Christian holiday of Easter that happens about this time of year, some would say. So what do you think? Oh, we didn't open our wonder box. Goodness gracious. Who would like to tell me what they think might be in here? You want to tell me? You think there's a bunny in there? Well, let's see. Julian, would you like to come help me open it? See what's in there? There's a couple things today, I think. What do you see first? You can pick it up. Whoops. You can pick it up. Show everybody. What did you say that was?
A paper with a bunny on it.
Well, hold it up so everybody could see it. Would you like me to do that part? Okay. What else? He said a paper with a bunny. Anybody see anything else? A duck? A seagull. So can we say we see a bird? Okay, we see a bird and a bunny. All right, what else is in there, Julian? What's that?
Rabbit.
A rabbit. Oh, okay, thank you. There's a rabbit. Would you like to hold the rabbit? No? Elliot, would you like to hold the rabbit? Okay, catch. All right. And Austin, will you tell me what else is in this wonder box? Wait, come back, Austin. Right here. What is in there? You can pick it up.
I think it's like an egg or something.
Hold it up for everybody to see. I think you are right. It is an egg. You can hold on to that for now or set it here, whichever you want to do. Okay. So we have a bird and a bunny or whatever you may see there, and we have a bunny. That's a puppet. You can put your hand in there if you want. And we have an egg. Okay, back to our story. Ostara was the goddess of spring. Okay, and as the goddess of spring, she gave birth to the sun and helped the sun grow brighter and brighter all the time. So what happens in the spring? Go ahead, sure.
Flowers start to grow.
Thanks, Willow. Flowers start to grow. What else happens in the spring? Sun comes out more. Babies are born. Maybe baby bunnies. Come here. Animals are out. Right. It gets warmer, right, too? So she was the bringer of warmth and color, like the flowers you had, color. And her festival is the Vernal Equinox. Thus, that's what's happening. New life, springtime. One day, while she was going about her very important work, and trying to get everything ready, get spring going, a little child came up to her, and the little child had a bird in her hands, and the bird was very cold. Ostara wasn't done, and it wasn't really very warm out yet, and this bird was very cold and dying, and the child came up to Ostara and said, "Could you please save this bird?" And she said, "Oh, I'm so busy right now. Can't you see? I have things to do. I'm very busy." She was slightly annoyed. The child said, "Please, please, please help me with this bird." She persisted. And so eventually the goddess said, okay, she took a breath and let it go and said, I should do this. And so she knew, though, that this bird was not going to be able to survive as a bird at this point. So she was going to need to change it into another sort of animal. What do you think she chose? Just shout it out.
A bunny.
An eagle. A bunny.
A bunny, because there's a bunny puppy.
Because you have a bunny. Austin?
A kitten.
A kitten. Willa?
An egg again.
Turned the bird into an egg. Come here. A baby chick. All good choices. In this story, that we have today, she did choose a bunny. And the bunny was very strong and could hop very far and had lots of really warm fur, okay? But that animal that could do all those things really didn't quite forget what it had been, okay? It was a bunny. It had long floppy ears and a fluffy little tail, right? Just like that one. But she still laid eggs like a bird. And every springtime, that bunny remembered that Ostara had saved her. And so to return that favor, it would lay eggs that would bring new life. And it also remembered the child that had that part in getting the bird bunny saved. Remembered the child and the colors of springtime, so those eggs were very colorful. And then the bunny would take his bird bunny eggs and deliver them to the children. Who knew, right? So I don't know if that story is actually true. We weren't there, okay? But just like any story from any tradition, it always usually comes from a little nugget of truth, because we're storytellers. So we find that little nugget of truth and we create something around it, right? So we do know that nugget of, what do you think that nugget of truth might have been? Julie?
I don't know. I
Oh.
thought it might be a button.
Okay, that's all right. Elliot?
I'm Elliot, not Ellie.
Elliot. Yes.
I was gonna say like maybe the bunny she was like a special bunny and she like laid like special eggs
Mm-hmm.
that people might have painted to make it colorful.
So there might have been a bunny that laid special eggs and people might have painted them. Mm-hmm. Ellie?
The bird really was hurt.
That the bird really was hurt, so that there was a story that the bird really was hurt. Yeah, thank you. So I think we don't know, right? So, but I do know that there was probably that nugget of truth was something about somebody asking for help, somebody finding something that needed done, and they weren't quite sure what to do, and they asked for help, and they kept persisting and kept making sure that they got to the point where they could get the help that they needed. So what does that story mean for us then? What does it mean for us, right? What if we were like the little child? If we were like that little child who, if she hadn't asked the goddess to help heal the bird, then the bird would have died. We wouldn't have had a bird bunny. We wouldn't have colored eggs, and it'd be a whole different season, right? But if we were like that, when we saw a problem, we could do that, right? So this story can help you remember that. That's what I like about stories. It helps us to remember those things. When we start to when we see a problem and we think we might know what to do about it, but we need help, we can remember that story, and then we go, oh yeah, that's what I need to do, okay? And then we can create something amazing with our actions. Thank you so much. Elliot, would you bring the bunny back here for me? We are going to now sing the children and youth out, to their religious exploration.
Those are the words, and we will sing this twice, because there may be some people who weren't here last time and don't even know what the song is. So. Go in love, our hearts go with you. Go in joy, our hopes grow too. Learn in love and grow in wisdom. Shine your light in all
Letty Knoll will now share why she supports the UU Fellowship financially.
Just as an add-on to the children's program, the sun is directly over the equator today. So our days and nights are equal. That's where we get the equinox from. And that's my old science teacher self surfacing. I've been a UU for a long, long time. I've been here from the beginning when we started with Lowell Steinbrenner getting a meeting at the Freelander Chalet where we signed a membership book, where we met at the chalet and in people's homes. And then we graduated to the Grange, which no longer exists, but it used to be up here at the corner of Smithville Western and, 3? Cleveland Road, yeah. That was the building with the dead flies. Do you remember the dead fly? There were hundreds of them. But I was frequently in the basement because I was the first RE teacher. And I went up to the Akron church and got the notebook of lesson plans and came back, and I had usually about 3 kids in the class. 2 of them were mine. And sometimes we had 5. Tracy Steinbrenner would come sometime. And sometimes there was another oddball that would show up. So that was our Grange time, but we grew. And we grew when we went to the church on Sabalt. And on Sabalt, we had no bathroom upstairs, but we put a bathroom in. That was a big improvement. But that church had a teeny weeny itsy bitsy parking lot. And that was a big disadvantage. So when the opportunity came to buy this land, we were sort of excited. But we were also a little bit afraid because we were still kind of a ragtag group in Worcester. There weren't that many of us yet. We wondered if we could support it. But we went ahead and we built the church and we grew. And now we're here.
Excuse me. But I have grown with each step, as long with the congregation, and I hope you will continue to support this wonderful building and the people in it, and pledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Letty. This is our time of sharing. A community is enriched as we support one another. I would like you to hold these concerns from members of our community in your hearts during this time and throughout the week. Don Curie died peacefully at home last Sunday. He will be missed. The memorial service will be April 9th at the Orville UCC Church. We're placing one stone in the bowl for our community's concerns. And we would like you to hold these joys from members of our community in your hearts at this time and throughout the week ahead. Cameron and Dee Moore share the joy that last Thursday, March 17th, they celebrated 25 years since Cameron's cancerous brain tumor was removed. We are placing one stone in the bowl for our community's joys. And now it's time for our sanctuary song.
open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, blessed and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
We know sorry. We know that there are many that carry joys that are not shared and sorrows or concerns that we do not hear. Let us take a moment to reflect and honor those thoughts that are unspoken. Our blessing this morning are words written by Andrew Bakula. May you fully know and deeply the blessings of each of your heart's seasons, the inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless, steady growth of summer, and autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by the hands to hold, and by the light of love to guide you on. Blessed be. And our first reflection this morning will be led by Judy Smith.
No, this is the reflection.
After a brief consultation. Is it better?
Winter is the oldest season, quietly beneath the snow. Seeds are stretching out and reaching, faithful as the morning glow.
Carry nothing but what you must. Lean in toward the light. Let it go, shake off the dust.
Lean in toward the light.
Today is now, tomorrow beckons.
Lean in toward the light.
Keep practicing the resurrection.
Lean in toward the light.
The shadows of this world will say, there's no hope, why try anyway? But every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light.
Lean in toward the light. Don't you walk when you can cry. Lean in toward the light. Lean in toward the light. Lean in
And Letty, to add to your vernal equinox knowledge, it happens exactly at 11:33 this morning. That's the former math teacher in me. We're going to do a meditation together. It's called Beneath the Snow. It was written by our own Sharon Delgadillo. It's been a long winter. And honestly, for the last 2 years, it couldn't have felt much more like winter than it has. But today in our new building, finally, with some of us in physical fellowship with one another, and on this first day of spring, I can feel like we can take a very deep breath. March, the month and that time of year when we never are quite sure what each day is going to bring. The season when the snow can cover the ground, the mud can cover our shoes, and the rain can turn to ice without warning. There's a meme that's going around that says spring can be all cute and springy, never acknowledging that last week before there was an ice storm and she really tried to kill us all. During that tumultuous weather, magic begins to happen, and it is the time of resurrection. And so today, I hope you will join me as we try to take that magic of spring and create some mindful intentions in our lives. So, I'm going to ask you to take a very deep breath with me. And as you sit, we'll do this meditation together. As you sit, plant your feet on the floor and stretch your spine to the sky. Get comfortable, and let's take a deep, deliberate breath. And as you begin to take your breath, feel your lungs begin to swell and lift your chest. Reach down to your core or your belly button and find all the pain, the sorrow, anxiety, loneliness, and lethargy that you may have felt while our church community was not in physical presence. So let's do that together. Let's sit with that for a minute when you reach the top and feel it deeply. And then as you exhale, release all those emotions. With your next breath, I would like you to find all the disappointments that have come to you in the absence of physically gathering as a community. It could be the disappointment of not making music, of not gathering for coffee hour, not fellowshipping in committees, or the inability to give and receive hugs as we gather each week. And whatever it is that you hold in your heart or held in your heart, imagine it as becoming a small bird, and with your next exhale, release that and let it free. Let's take a journey together. If you're comfortable, you may close your eyes, and let's meet on a field of white snow. This is the kind of snow that has a crunchy layer on the top of it, so that your feet do not make a deep impression. And as you stand on that white, crunchy surface, I want you to take another deep breath, this time inhaling the cold winter air and the sharpness of it as you bring it into your lungs. Allow yourself to sit with that sensation for a moment, and as you release and exhale, you begin to feel your breath become warm, and you notice the sun is shining on your face. And as the sun is shining on your face and reflecting through your closed eyes, I want you to be still and listen. Do you hear the birds singing in the trees along the edge of the field? Do you hear the rustle of branches as they dance to a very light breeze? Can you smell that the air is not as stark and cold? There's a slight warm humidity that you feel as you take another deep breath, and it smells of earth and fecundity. Inhale deeply. As you exhale, allow your mind to begin to travel down your body to your feet, and finally to the ground. There are places where the snow is melted, and you can see small mounds of mud and dead plants next to the spots of snow. And it is not silent. Listen as the mosses begin to come to life. Do you hear the call of the Canada goose as you are listening? Do you see the salamanders or frog begin to move? Can you see the roots of the first flowering plant stretch and reach deeper into the earth for nourishment? Maybe it's a skunk cabbage, trillium, or snowdrop. Perhaps you can hear the rustle of tiny ants and beetles and other insects beginning to emerge. Listen, the earth is awakening. Even beneath the cold, still snow, life is bursting, preparing for the next season. As you slowly begin to leave that space, bring the sun's warmth, the budding trees, and the emerging life into your heart space and let it breathe there. Take one last deep breath, pulling all that energy into your heart space, and then with an exhale, exclaim, "Spring has arrived." We'll do that together. Spring has arrived. Thank you.
Our commitment to this community is spiritual in its essence, yet we are physical beings too. Our bodies and our minds require the support of our finances and our skills to make this a place of growth and practice and nurture. People contribute financially to our fellowship in a variety of ways. This morning and throughout the month of March, donations to the UUFWC that are not designated for another purpose will be split with Viola Startzman Clinic. In grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and dreams, the morning offering will now be received. Our offertory music this morning is a song, and I'm going to mess this up. Our Yo Ye Nos, performed by Sue Candle. For the dedication of the offering, please join me in this unison reading. The words are on the screens. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share our gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Are we still going to have the same music? No, okay. And now the second reflection is Sharon.
This is worth it just to play with the podium. Good morning. Spring has always been one of my favorite seasons. The excitement and the anticipation as I'm hoping maybe my bulbs are going to leaf out and bloom again. It's one of my greatest joys, and kind of my nervous part too. Seeing Cadbury eggs in the market for the first time, chocolate joy. And how did they get those yolks in there? I just haven't figured that out yet. And turning my mind to what I will be planting this year and nurture during the year, those are things that all contribute to my spring fever. This is the time that I take spring snowstorms and ice storms really personally. I'm ready for the air to begin to warm, the grass to begin to awaken, and the daylight to stay longer. For many years, I have felt the great affection for the goddess Ostara. First of all, when I heard this story, I finally understood that whole bunny laying the eggs thing. I was really confused as a child. I was. And it also helped me understand where the word Easter is derived from. The hair is associated with the moon in many cultures. The face of the moon was thought to look like a rabbit. And in Far Eastern cultures, the hare lived in the moon with the moon goddess. And it could be seen constantly pounding the elixir of life for her. The first people in the Americas also associated the rabbit with the moon, and many of the stories told how the rabbit sacrificed itself for many gods and holy folk. And in the Celtic tradition, the moon and the hare both die every morning, only to be resurrected each evening. The day for the celebration of Easter is determined by the phase of the moon. That was another one I never understood either as a child, why it was never the same date. And of course, the egg is pure fertility. It can sustain life, create life, and be perfectly balanced certain times of the year. And we know what time that will be today. It is 11:33, exactly. The Romans forbade the eating of eggs during spring rituals, and they were laid outside, which probably is the beginning of our Easter egg hunts. And the story of the resurrection is an old one. We have Osiris, who was killed by his brother to be restored and resurrected by his wife in the ancient Egyptian texts. In ancient Sumer, the goddess of fertility, Inanna, or sometimes known as Ishtar, was killed and resurrected. And the Celts have many stories of death and rebirth, several of which are related to vegetation. One of my favorites is the story of John Barleycorn and how he is cut off at the knees each year only to return again. And of course, we know what John Barleycorn does indeed give us, which is alcoholic beverage. So, plus other things to sustain us. And probably the most recent resurrection story is the one of Jesus. He sacrifices his life for the good of man and is resurrected. Since I was young, I felt a strong connection to the seasons. And when I discovered some of the earth-based traditions of using the seasons to take a moment to slow down and really look around me to see what is happening, I found it to be a good fit to my life philosophy. For example, winter solstice is the time I reflect and I turn inward. Summer solstice is when I take stock of how I'm doing with my intentional living. Do I need to change or adjust when I take stock of the course or my behaviors? Do I need to tweak my thoughts to reflect how I want my life to be lived? Fall equinox is when I think of mortality and my footprint on the earth. I cast my gaze to the bigger picture and remember my ancestors that lived a life so that I too could be here today. But vernal equinox, spring, that's the time that I begin to create intention for what I wish to manifest in my life. So the word intention is defined as such: meaning, purpose, aim, target, objective, a plan. Intentional living is a life that aspires to be with meaning and purpose, a life trying to fulfill an objective or to have a plan. And I believe many of us practice intentional living. So today, I wanted to share one of my favorite spring activities, and that's planting an intention. And because in my heart I'm a kindergartner, I always have to do it with visual aids and something fun. So I hope you all grabbed a packet. Does everyone have a packet as they came in? If not, raise your hand because Karen has the basket, the big basket. Okay. Now in that packet, it should contain an egg, a pen, and a piece of paper. So today, I would invite you to take advantage of this special day and plant something of your own, your intention, something you would like to nurture and grow during the spring season. Is it something within yourself that you want to nurture? Is it a new habit that you want to create? Is it a project that you want to see blossom from your energy and your time? The choices really are endless. So if you would like to participate, I invite you to take out your egg, sit with it, and with great joy and expectation, write down your intention that you wish to conceive. And by the way, the pens are new, so you may have to flick off the end of it so that they will write. So I'll give you a moment to play.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to walk over with my mask on. I apologize. So are you finished? If you're finished, fold up your paper, and place it inside your egg and close it up.
I think it's you now, isn't it?
The reading is Spirit of Life, Bring Us to Beauty by Judith Quarles. Spirit of life, bring to us beauty, the beauty of snowdrops and tulip shoots. Bring to us strength, the strength of torrents, of spring streams, and the quiet strength of roots, pushing deep into the ground for nourishment. Bring to us pleasure, the pleasures of maple syrup sticky and sweet on our tongues, and the wind grabbing a kite and taking it high, if only we could go too. Bring to us wisdom, the knowledge that new life springs up without help, in spite of everything we do or don't do. Green shoots will bring in the spring. Grass and weeds and dandelions will appear. Bring to us love. Springtime love has a magic in it. The children look cherubic. The parents look eager. The lovers look lost. The seniors look satisfied. Let springtime love be a part of our lives. Spirit of life, come to us that all the energy and power of spring will make us tall and smiling and expectant. Amen. And now the children.
I'm here. We shall sing Spirit of Life, which is personally my favorite hymn, and so we're going to sing it twice. It's also short. Is that okay? Stand as you wish. It's better to sing. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Food in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you. Please be seated.
So now that your eggs are finished, what are you going to do with them? Will you take them home and place them in the Easter basket with all the other eggs? Will you set it on your kitchen windowsill so that you can ponder and think about your intention during your morning beverage? Will you plant it in the ground? Or will you put it in the catch-all drawer only to find it next year and go, oh yeah, I planted a goal in there? It has been a long, lonely winter. But today the light stays longer and the earth begins to warm. The Usual Suspects sang one of my favorite songs, Lean Into the Light. And what I love about that song is there are times stepping into the light is too much. So I like it because when you lean into the light, you start to feel the radiance on your face, then it hits your shoulders, and then that step isn't quite so big. It's more draws you into the light. So I would like us all to say, if you will, with me, because I think it's a lovely thought, lean into the light. And we will lean into the light. The world is very uncertain right now, and we watch with horror and mourn at the violence and loss. But we will lean into the light. For if we dwell in the darkness, we are stunted. We do not grow. We have no energy to give to others, no joy or hope to find or to pass along. To be vital, we must lean into the light. We know that truth is found in the light. Shadows cannot sustain in the light. And in the light, we find truth and cast away the darkness. We will lean into the light. So I'm going to ask you to do one more thing with your egg. I would ask you to take it in your hands and hold them very gently. Hold them just like you would if they were real eggs and they wouldn't break. If you bring them up to your mouth, close to your mouth, I would like you to breathe in all the potential that spring holds for us. Hold it for a moment, and then gently blow that potential onto your egg. Let us allow spring to unfold slowly so that we may witness the wonder of rebirth and renewal. Blessed be. So after the postlude, please remain sitting because the children are going to be coming and they have some things to say to us. Thank you.
Our postlude is called When the Red, Red Robin, performed by the folk orchestra.
Where's everyone going?
Come back. All right, we have to be here to support Max. Come on, guys. All right.
So last week, the youth and children made chocolate truffles for help in Ukraine, and we picked the organization UNICEF. UNICEF is sending health and hygiene products along with water and children protective teams that have psychiatric care to traumatized children and families who have to leave their homes through this crisis. So out in the lobby, there's a table, and all donations are helpful, and everything will be going to the cause in Ukraine.
Great, thank you. We'll see you guys in the lobby then. Thank you.